to meet Amazonian experience and technology. And now, here's Vice President Brent J.
Hi everyone, my name is Brent J, and I wanted to thank you for spending the day with us. I hope you found the insights on managing your career to be useful and that you're now more prepared to find that dream career. We thought now may be a good time to shift gears and dive deeper into a specific part of Amazon, which is the Amazonian Experience and Technology team that I lead. I'm hoping to share information with you today that might encourage you to consider opportunities on our team. And while I'm grateful to be today's showcase business, I encourage you to visit our careers website to learn about all the exciting jobs available across Amazon. As we begin, I thought it might be useful to share with you some of the highlights of my 14 years with the company. My own personal Amazon journey began with a moving truck going from Dallas, Texas to Seattle, Washington to start a job running customer service for North America. At the time, I was joining a $14 billion bookseller and had no idea it would evolve into a $435 billion everything store. There were several highlights from my time in customer service, but my three favorites were in opening Amazon in Costa Rica, opening Amazon in South Africa, and finally having Amazon customer service grace the cover of Business Week magazine when named the #1 most extreme customer service company. Those first years also really helped me think more globally and realize the impact we could have in the communities where we worked. One early example of this was the time I spent with the local government in Costa Rica discussing education and infrastructure development in that country. This strong partnership proved very successful, with us growing our presence in the country from those first 75 people to over 15,000 people today. In 2010, I was recruited by Amazon Web Services to bring customer centricity to cloud computing. I went from leading a global customer service team of 2,400 people to a scrappy startup of just 22 people in Seattle. While some might find that move unusual, I was one of many Amazonians that loved the energy of starting a new business. I spent 10 years in AWS watching my team grow from those first 22 people in Seattle to a global team of over 10,000 people spread across 36 countries. A key part of our success was building one of the world's largest cloud engineering organizations and focusing on building customer-centric technology. Amazon is like a venture capital firm that uses something called a press release and FAQ process to identify the best opportunities to fund. We were fortunate to pitch many ideas that were ultimately funded. The result was transforming a business with no tech team to a large builder organization. Our technology was regularly covered by industry press, made its way into several AWS reInvent keynotes, and was also featured in the Amazon shareholder letter. Along the way, we built a multi-billion-dollar business, which became one of the largest P&Ls in AWS. This was also an exciting personal time for me, as I had the opportunity to take on responsibility for AWS managed services and Amazon IT services. I decided in 2020 I was interested in learning a new part of Amazon. As I worked on a succession plan, I began looking around the company for my next opportunity. When I spoke with my now boss, Beth Galletti, I realized Amazonian Experience and Technology is exactly where I was meant to be. In my time with Amazon, I've been continuously impressed by the people I get to work with every day. I love the idea of a job where these people were my customers and I could bring world-class service delivery, technology, and science together to improve their lives. So I was just recently in the same position as many of you, faced with the decision on what I want to do with my career. I chose Amazon and find myself just as excited as I was on the first day I worked here. As you consider Amazon, I thought I'd share the reasons I'm still here. First, there is no better place in the world to build. When I joined Amazon, I never considered myself an inventor. Yet, here I am with 9 patents, which Amazon celebrates with a blue puzzle piece. Inventors come in lots of different packages, different backgrounds, different education, different experiences. Anyone can be an inventor at Amazon. The patents I've been granted have included a variety of collaborators, from frontline employees to developers to product managers who just wanted to make things better for our customers. When looking specifically at Amazonian Experience and Technology, I realized the opportunities to invent in this space are endless. Second, I get to work with the best and brightest talent in the world. I have former Amazonians comment to me all the time that what takes a week in Amazon takes 6 months for their current company. Working with world-class talent allows you to accomplish more and at a faster pace. I've also benefited from the teachers in the organization that have helped me grow professionally. I continue to work at Amazon as I think there are no better people in the world to learn from and to build with. Third, Amazon has the scale to be a force for good in the world. As many of you may have seen, we recently added 2 new leadership principles: strive to be the Earth's best employer, and success and scale bring broad responsibility. We have the talent and the motivation to be an incredibly successful company, but we aspire more ambitiously to leave the Earth in a better place for future generations. The new leadership principles connected deeply with me, and I believe there's no better place in the company to bring these leadership principles to life than right here in Amazonian Experience and Technology. This brings me to the topic of what exactly is Amazonian Experience and Technology. We do 3 things. We build and manage Amazon benefits, we build and manage Amazon HR technology, and we provide HR services for Amazonians around the world. Our tech team consists of over 2,000 builders located around the world in places such as Seattle, Washington, D.C., Boston, Dublin, Bangalore. The team also consists of 10,000 HR professionals located in 20 countries around the world. This team provides a range of value-added services to all Amazon employees. It's probably easiest to list some of the services which you may recognize from your current company. This includes benefits, immigration, disability and leave, accessibility, accommodations, vocational rehab, COVID support, employment screening, work authorization, time and attendance, unemployment, and general HR support. Clearly, there is a lot of work taking place within this team. To give you a sense of that scale, we are building our systems to handle tens of millions of workers. As we get started with our peak hiring, we will hire thousands of people in a single peak hour. We must integrate with payroll systems in 57 countries so we can pay our employees. This is massive scale, but there's also the complexity of supporting a business where we have such a broad array of workers, everything from fulfillment center pickers to airline pilots to actors. Our exciting challenge is to build technology that rethinks the traditional approach to building enterprise HR technology. Amazon's service-oriented architecture allows us to take advantage of services being built across the company to improve the Amazonian experience. For example, we want our technology to enable an integrated end-to-end experience for all Amazonians to discover, enroll, manage, and act on Amazon benefits, including health, life, retirement, etc. We want that experience to be seamless, no matter where in the world you work. Our technology should know Amazonians and deliver a contextualized experience, including recommending action based on life events, such as getting married or welcoming a child. We want our customer experience to be inclusive, accessible, easy to understand and navigate, and flexible to adapt to life situations. There is never any shortage of interesting problems to work on in this team. AET played a pivotal role in Amazon's response to the pandemic. We spun up an entire operation, our COVID Resource Center, and technology to ensure we kept our employees safe by tracking, tracing, and informing them about virus exposure in real time. In this increasingly virtual world, we've been challenged to find ways for 1.4 million Amazonians across 3,800 locations and their homes to feel as if their favorite HR expert is right beside them. These are problems that we are passionately working to solve every day. We are building technology that allows every Amazonian and HR business partner in the world to be able to access our team of HR experts with a click of a button, 365 days a year and 24 hours a day via phone, chat, or web case. On the AET team, we have the luxury and the responsibility of managing millions and millions of pieces of employee data. These systems allow us to better understand the voice of the customer and to drive systemic resolutions. This also allows us to identify the next generation of products we will build. These are services that also benefit from our investments in machine learning so that we can constantly be getting better. We need to get better at recognizing when things aren't going right for Amazonians. You might have heard about something at Amazon called the and-on cord. In our retail environment, pulling the and-on cord means we will stop selling a product that is generating a negative customer experience. Tens of thousands of customer service people are empowered to push a button and stop selling this product on our website until experience issues are resolved. This is the type of Amazon innovation we are working diligently to bring to the Amazonian experience around the world. We've learned that when employees have certain experiences, say welcoming a child into their family, they often face an overwhelming checklist to navigate. They must figure out time away, health coverage, beneficiary designations, and more. We work on technology that dramatically simplifies the experience for our employees. We think employees should expect a one-click experience for life events that are delightful, empathetic, and efficient in supporting our employees through their personal and professional milestones. The one-click experience works backward from an employee's life event, abstracts the underlying business complexity, and provides a single place for all necessary actions. The effortless experience will surface information and resolutions for employees wherever they prefer, whether it's our A to Z mobile app or our HR website. I've just given a couple of examples from a long list of technology that we are building to improve the lives of Amazonians. We think innovation in Amazonian experience and technology will be a key reason Amazon becomes Earth's best employer. As I've shared, I'm obviously very excited about the work that I'm doing as a builder. One thing I want to close with is now more than ever, it's important that we all take a holistic approach at managing our career. My most important job is as a parent to 4 children, 3 girls and 1 boy. I just dropped my oldest daughter, Riley, at the University of Michigan to begin her college career. I stay busy attending cheer competitions, soccer games, football games, with my kid commitments running everywhere from elementary age to college age. Since my team is global, I spend a lot of time meeting with teams around the world. One of the pleasures I've had was in being able to bring my oldest daughters with me when I needed to travel for work. It has been very rewarding seeing them develop a passion for travel and cultures while spending time with me in over 30 countries, including some extraordinary places such as India, China, and South Africa. I found that while I love my job, there's plenty of room for an equally fulfilling personal life when I leave work. I have never been more excited about what we're doing in Amazonian experience and technology. We bring together some of the best minds in tech and human resources at one of the largest companies to reimagine HR and the Amazonian experience. We're looking for people to join us on that mission. If what you heard today excites you, we want to hear from you. We have hundreds of open positions that you can explore through the QR code on the screen or through the link on the event page. I hope you'll check them out. Now, coming up next, you get the chance to meet more of the team during a panel discussion. We have asked 5 of our colleagues that represent different aspects of the building process to give you additional insights on how we invent.
You heard from Brent about what Amazonian experience and technology does. Now we'll dive into more detail with builders, strategists, and other experts on the team to explore topics ranging from how we take a product from idea to invention to how we blend technology and empathy to support our customers. Stay tuned.
Hi everyone, welcome and thank you for joining us. I'm Cindy Culbertson, Director of Operations, Data and Science, and I am excited to have you meet a few members of our Amazonian Experience and Technology organization. Today I'm with 5 of my colleagues who collaborate every day to solve complex, challenging problems on behalf of one of the largest employers on the planet. We've asked them to join us today as they bring different perspectives and expertise and frame not only our culture, but how we actually invent. So let's go ahead and meet the team. Dean, let's start with you.
Thanks, Cindy. Hi, I'm Dean Sparman. I'm the Director of Healthcare Benefit Strategy for Amazon, and I lead a team of healthcare experts and clinicians focused on designing and developing and implementing innovative healthcare solutions for our employees.
Thank you. Avi.
Hi, I'm Avi. I'm a principal engineer in AET. I have worked across multiple organizations, primarily with Amazon Fulfillment Technology and Amazon Robotics. Now I'm here, and we are building the next generation solutions for employee experience. And our goal is to make the lives of our employees better every day.
Thank you, Avi. Heather.
Hi, I'm Heather Peterson. I'm a senior manager, and I lead product management, UX, and research for the human capital management systems, and we build new customer experiences every day.
Guna.
Thank you for having me here, Cindy. Hi, my name is Guna Jayaraman. I'm a Director of Software Development. We build product technology and experience to support our Amazonians. I'm glad to be here sharing my experience.
And Janelle.
Thanks, Cindy. Janelle Donaldson. I lead Amazon's Employee Contact Center. We help with associates all over the world that help in all of our locations for employee questions inbound.
Again, thank you all for being here. Guna, earlier today, Brent talked about builders coming to build. As a builder for Amazon for over 9 years, can you talk a bit about what appealed to you in general about Amazon, in particular this organization?
Sure, Cindy, I can. I joined Amazon 9 years back because I personally experienced how customer-centric the company was. After being here, I realized the success and reputation of the company is because every single employee goes over and beyond all the time, and they don't stop at anything until we get it perfectly right for our customers. And I strongly believe that we need to take care of our employees just as how we do for our customers, and this organization, AET, does that. I moved to United States in 2004 as a student. If I recall my 17 years in this country, I must have gone through at least 50 immigration petitions, visa renewals, stampings. I'm positive that the paperwork alone takes up more space in my wardrobe than our entire clothes. But fun aside, each of those moments have been nerve-wracking to our family. There is a lot of uncertainty, there is stress. I'm really glad I got terrific support from our HR business partners and amazing immigration team in Amazon. But I do think there is a need for technology to solve some of the hard problems at scale so that we can help employees navigate these moments. Now, immigration is one example, but I'm sure there are so many events happening in our lives which could be emotionally overwhelming to ourselves and our families. And I believe supporting employees through these moments cannot be transactional. We really need to bring in the empathy, build a strong relationship, compassion, while making the processes fast and efficient, which we have all grown used to. So I think this is a very hard problem for any engineering and science team to solve, and I'm really glad we are all doing that here. Now, when we add the complexity and the scale of Amazon, the global workforce, the geographic needs, legal and compliance requirements, the problem gets more exciting. And then one thing I've observed is when we get comfortable thinking that we have got it all figured out, we are thrown into the deep end with unexpected events, the ongoing pandemic or weather events or supporting new type of employees like people working in physical stores or even a unique situation in somebody's life. So I think building technology for people experience cannot be just solving for the knowns. It should be building it in a way where we can sustain and react to the unknowns all the time. I've had the privilege of working in a constant culture of innovation in Amazon throughout my career. We experiment all the time. It's totally okay to fail, learn from the experiences and move on, and we do it pretty fast. We go from whiteboarding a design to launching an actual customer-facing product in a matter of few weeks. This happens across the board in every team in Amazon, but what makes it really exciting for me in this organization is we get to apply the same builder mentality that we do for our customers to creating experience for ourselves as employees. And we get a chance to impact millions of Amazonians' life and their families. So that honestly keeps me going every day.
You know, Guna, it's really cool to be able to take a situation that's impacted you so significantly and truly be part of the change. And I have to admit, if I had that much paper taking up my wardrobe, I'd be pretty passionate as well. Avi, as a principal software engineer, you're working on specifically creating the technology Brent referenced in his keynote. You've been with Amazon for 11 years, and you've worked on some really interesting innovations. Can you tell us what you're working on now? What you're most excited about?
Sure. First of all, thank you, Cindy. I would say that the problem statement in this organization is quite a positive irony associated with the tremendous growth of Amazon. We are a workforce of over 1.4 million employees spread across 64 or 60 plus countries. The legal and business complexities that comes with such a scale and diversity has been pushing the boundaries of the tooling what we have today. We have a lot of solutions which are working in silos. What we need is build the Lego pieces of our architecture that work coherently as an ecosystem so that our employees need not to work around multiple independent solutions for getting help. Today, for any life event, our employees have to figure out what all options Amazon has for them. Our vision is that employees need not to go to multiple different places to figure out what benefits they have or what processes they need to follow. Instead, we build a platform in such a way that looks at data point from multiple services and builds a unified experience at a common place. Let's dive into an example which Guna picked up related to immigration. People are working across countries, and our policies and rules, they keep on changing. Everyone's situation is very unique. Myself being a non-immigrant, I would say that I have to constantly keep myself updated with that space, follow different forums, find similar employees who have similar situation or scenarios to get some advice. I have to figure out the right contacts and the processes that I need to follow. What if we built a system that looks at multiple dimensions associated with a profile of employee? For example, their job type, their role, their country of origin, the source and destination for the movement, and match these dimensions with similar dimensions from other profiles. And using all this, create a very personalized experience which is very custom tailored for the unique situation which we talked about. This will also create a self-learning system that will keep on getting smarter as more and more employees use it. We are also building new experiences which are as simple as one-click concepts. So for example, anyone can come on our platform and can see a live event. Let's say they are getting married, or they are having a child, or maybe they are getting transferred from one location to another location. Many of such events may not be manually invoked by the employees itself, and maybe we can figure out automatically by integrating with different services. For example, if someone is coming back from leave and need help with ramp up, what our systems are going to do is behind the scenes we'll figure out all the relevant business rules, tie them together, and create maybe one or multiple guided workflows which guides the employee step by step through their journey. The other component what we are keeping in mind is that we are building the solutions in such a way that if it's built once, the same can be deployed on multiple platforms, whether it's mobile, desktop, phone, or maybe even Alexa. At the same time, we totally understand that automation may not be enough for all the use cases. And the other critical piece of our architecture, what we are thinking about, is related to live help. At any point of time, if an employee feels the need for a human support, we are building the technology to connect them to the right HR partner.
Thanks, Avi. Thanks for giving us a peek not only on what you're focused on, but the complexity that you deal with. Janelle, as a director that oversees the Employee Contact Center, you hear the voice of the Amazonian employee every day, all day. Tell me about how these examples Avi spoke about are fitting into your team's role.
Thanks, Cindy. Yeah, Amazon is, very, very factually a very large place to navigate, and so we have to consider that, really, supporting employees through technology and supporting employees through people are just really, two parts of a whole, and so we definitely see that circle repeat time and again. We have 3,000 agents over 57, supporting 57 countries over. Geographically dispersed, and really even there we have all sorts of nuance. The country policies, the 14 languages we support, and the breadth of questions that come with employment, which may or may not be things traditionally associated with human resources. They may be about not being able to log into a piece of equipment, or they may be about getting badged into a building. And so there's some things that are tangential to maybe more traditional employee questions that sound like human resources. So, as much as I think our team is excellent at supporting really wonderful experiences through employees through a contact center environment, I'm certainly not afraid to say that many employees never wanted to contact us to begin with. And so I think about Avi's experiences of where we can bring the experience to the employee in a self-sufficient way. It's very, I think, consistent with kind of the culture and DNA of Amazonians who prefer a level of self-sufficiency, at least the option to do so. And when they need a human, we have that to offer as well. And so, our team jokes that we talk to more Amazonians one-on-one than really anyone at Amazon. And so, that kind of starts to speak to a split remit. One is that we need to set our agents up for the success through technology, through what they can see about the employee's profile, and the technology that supports running a great contact center. but it's also what we do with that information and how we use that to influence up and back into our technology products or other services. When you get a chance to be the person that talks to more, Amazonians one-on-one, what doesn't work too, where automation is missing, or maybe where, a well-intentioned policy even was not hitting the mark. And so we have a real opportunity to influence back in that way. And I was thinking, actually, just before we came together for this panel, actually, we were talking to a group of business partners about the recent weather events in Louisiana and the Northeast, and particularly about, we did have automated messaging that supported employees through those weather events, and those messages worked as intended. They kept associates off of dangerous roads, and they were helpful in alerting, particularly building closure and open timelines. But we were still receiving contacts that just had a little bit different flavor. While the messaging itself indicated that the employee would be paid for the missed shift, we did not indicate that they did not need to take action in order to receive that pay. And so we did have some contacts asking, what should I do on that piece? And so, we assembled that business group just to get together and say, let's just talk about how we can improve this messaging. Some small tweaks. And, we don't need a dozen software development engineers to fix that problem. I mean, in the grand scheme, that's a small use case, but there are also very large use cases where we see defects coming in or there's a chance to automate, and we want to take advantage of the usefulness of that information and the partnerships.
Thanks, Janelle. It'll be really interesting to see how much more intuitive your team's interactions will be once Avi's product is rolled out. So we're excited about that. But before we move on, let's back up a little bit to how the product process even kicks off. Heather, you've been a product manager for Amazon for 21 years. Can you tell our audience about what that process looks like on this team? How does an idea go from just an idea to something every employee around the world engages in?
So bringing big ideas to life is why I came to Amazon. Much of my career has been building customer experiences on the retail side of our business. Through that, I got the opportunity to see dozens of initiatives go from ideation to launch to delivering customer delight. Why I came to AET is to bring the same sense of innovation and customer obsession to how we support Amazon employees. After being an employee for 21 years, I passionately agree with what Guna said earlier, that we need to take care of our employees the same way we do our customers. So I'm sure you've heard multiple times today, customer obsession is at the center of everything that we do and build at Amazon. So to bring an idea to life and put it in action, we always start with the customer and work backwards. Working backwards is a writing process that ensures the customer is always at the table while you are building. It requires you to articulate the experience and value from the customer perspective before you start to build. And one of the mechanisms that we use is the press release. We create mock press releases about the product or innovation, enabling us to really leap into the future and imagine how customers will feel about the product or feature that we're going to launch. Of course, we don't actually share this with customers, but going through this process really requires clarity on how customers will see the idea, and this is what drives what we build. And best of all, it's a shared effort. As Amazonians, we all share the responsibility to speak up on behalf of customers. Anybody can write a press release. Anybody can influence what we build. So I'll give you a couple examples. So like I said, I run product management for the human capital management system. The system is really at the core of most HR-related experiences. Every single Amazon employee interacts with the HCM at some point, whether it be updating their personal information, applying for a leave of absence, going on a parental leave. And previously, we had several disparate systems running each one of those individual actions, resulting in a disconnected customer experience, where, say, for updating your personal information, you would have to go to 4 different tools to accomplish that. And about a year ago, we took the opportunity to really take a step back and look at that from the customer's perspective, from the employee perspective. And we wrote a press release. And from that press release, we've really fundamentally changed the way that we are thinking about the employee experience and how we build those systems in a way that they connect and interact with each other so that the employee gets a connected experience on the front end. The headline that is driving our actions is, "We deliver a connected employee experience, empowering Amazonians to easily find and take action on anything." This headline follows us as we build, so the customer is always at the table. Another example, and I really love this one, and this happened recently, is a group of employees in the UK came together through a shared experience of a recent parental leave. Different jobs, they're doing different things, different levels, so their day-to-day is not the same. But they had this shared experience around parental leave. And through this, they saw some opportunities to improve the customer experience. They wrote a press release and then presented that press release to a bunch of different owners and have now influenced what we are actually building. And so it really shows anybody can lead, anybody can write a press release, anybody can influence the customer experience.
You're right, Heather. It is an incredibly unique and powerful tool that we have at Amazon. Dean, this past year has been an inflection point in thinking about mental health and our responsibility as an employer to provide resources for our team. What can you share that your team has been working on, and what are you looking forward to 2022?
Thanks, Cindy. As part of our continued effort to focus on mental health and making sure that Amazon's providing mental health resources and support to our employees, earlier this year we launched a mental health front door for our employees in the US. And as Heather just explained about PRFAQs, we too started within PRFAQ to develop this very innovative one-stop shop front door for our Amazon employees and their families. What this program offers to our employees is that now they have one place to go, one place to start for all their mental health questions and concerns. And this includes providing them with access to virtual psychotherapy, to computerized cognitive behavioral therapy, as well as it combines our Employee Assistance Program, or EAP, with Behavioral Health Navigator. This Behavioral Health Navigator basically is a person who can actually provide personalized support to our employees when they need mental health support or care. This person will, based on the employee's needs, based on their personal preferences, and based on the treatment that they need, will refer them to the right treatment, the right program, the right services. As we look ahead to 2022, we're super excited to be able to expand this front door model to employees outside of the US. We're going to be launching global programs and solutions to make sure that employees across the globe have access to get the mental health support and services they need when they need it. In addition, our team's also building processes and mechanisms to help our people managers and our employees to recognize and to know what to do when they notice their coworkers that might need mental health support as well. And one final highlight I'd like to share is that earlier this year, Amazon launched a new affinity group focusing on mental health and well-being. And this group is led by employees, and it allows Amazonians to participate in weekly events to really give and provide social support to each other and to help raise mental health awareness and help us reduce stigma. Our team continues to partner and is very appreciative of the opportunity to partner with this mental health affinity group as well as other affinity groups across Amazon as we continue to make sure that we're listening to our employees as we design, implement, launch, and then iterate on our global behavioral health programs.
Thanks, Dean. It's really great to hear that we're focusing more on the overall holistic care of the employee. But you said something that really stuck with me, listening to employees. How does that work when, as we've talked about, we have over 1 million employees working in roles ranging from flying planes to working on delivering packages? Guna, Is that overwhelming?
Yes, it is. But I can say for sure that this is not new to us. At Amazon, we have been listening to billions of customer feedback. One of the first experiences, my own experiences building technology for customer service, was just being amazed by the sheer scale of the data and how much attention our associates pay to those little details which make the customer experience totally delightful and engaging. We have built technology like Voice of the Customer, which uses language processing, machine learning to turn these billions of unstructured feedback into machine-readable data, and then we extract insights out of them. We built technology to find egregious issues, needles in the haystack, systematic trends. What I love about Amazon is we never hesitate to pull down a service or a product if it doesn't meet the bar. We do it all the time. So now if we're talking about making employees as our own customers, it becomes really interesting because we get to put ourselves in the heart of everything we do and then work back from our own needs. And like you mentioned, like our workforce is really diverse. So we have people flying planes. Like I would love to fly planes someday. The workforce is so diverse in skills, geography, and just where they are in their life that the needs are so different. We have associates in fulfillment centers, customer service call centers, drivers, people working on a flexible schedule, fresh out of school SDs, tenured scientists, senior leaders, millions of employees spread globally, each with their own needs. If you're talking about building a long-lasting relationship with such an employee base whose needs are changing and growing over a period of time, our technology must be ready to meet them where they are in their personal and professional life. It is really a big challenge, but I'm confident that by incorporating some of what we already do really well for our customers, we have a huge head start into making Amazon Earth's best employer.
Janelle, it makes me wonder, with so much data flowing in, how do we make our HR support still feels personalized?
Yeah, definitely when you need to talk to someone, you don't want to talk to someone, you want to talk to the right someone. So, therein really is the challenge and the fun, thinking about, what do we know as someone comes into a contact center environment or for help requests? And, I lead a contact center in Amazon focused on Amazonians, but we also have a specialty center for COVID. We have, HR business partners that are, tenured and trained in their trade. We have, we even have a small team dedicated to the support of survivors of Amazonians who have passed away. And that team, has a whole different bar of empathy, has a unique set of tools. And, those examples go on. And in some cases, it's not even internal to the company. There are times with specialty services where maybe an external vendor is the right one. And so getting that routing correct is we still have room to work on that. And we want to really get that right because we think getting that right person on the line is key. So it demands that we go upstream. What did we know before someone found access to support? Guna referenced it a little bit. We have demographic information about the employee. We maybe know where they were searching, where they were clicking, and we may even grab overt intents of where they intend to go. I was trying to think of an example in preparation for today around where an overt intent really matters, and I was thinking about if you had a tragic life event and maybe you needed to change a beneficiary. It would be perfectly right for us to assume that individual would like to talk to a caring professional, but it would also be perfectly right for us to have an opportunity for them to take care of something, on a handheld device and not have to make a phone call. And I think that's where we want to get those preferences right and meet our Amazonians where they are in terms of coming in for a service. So, I also think, sometimes the noun makes it personal. I'll go back to COVID for a second. I do believe that anyone in the HR profession, but certainly almost anyone doing business globally in 2020 kind of has their COVID story of their kind of crucible learning through that experience. But we had a whole bunch in terms of how we serve customers. And, one of those kind of aha moments was, more than ever before, speed equated to safety. And, you have to really rethink then what is an acceptable service level, what's an acceptable turnaround time, how fast can a task be completed? And the answer was, maybe something that was okay in 24 hours was okay in 1 hour or less. And those types of thinking about how we take care of customers with the totality of Amazon's kind of support and resources, technology, people, had to be really rethought. But if you kind of remember back to those earliest days of COVID too, there was this other part, which is we didn't understand the disease very well, and so people were scared. And so, you know, even before we could fully flesh out maybe pay policies or you know, a dedicated team to support, we knew we had to have dedicated agents to receive phone calls, and we couldn't wait on that. We needed to make contact with Amazonians and make sure that we offer our support as best we had it, and if those were scrappy ways and they became more mature over time, that was just fine. So I think about those kind of angles. And I was thinking about all the kind of story, kind of remembering that I participated in and kind of getting ready for today. And I would be remiss not to share too that, you know, after 10 years at Amazon, how much I think about these as these experiences and learning and kind of cracking open new channels of thinking about how to do the work we do. But I'm just so convinced that it's actually in front of me. Always the biggest, newest, fun learning is always in front of me. That's why I think it's really fun to have these opportunities to talk to candidates about roles, because this is what we're doing right now, and maybe a little bit of what we've done in the past, but what we're going to do in the future is really where the good stuff is. So yeah, share that little bit.
Your response really just brings out, you know, the opportunity and the responsibility that our org has, describing almost an intersection of technology and empathy. I'm curious how this works from the benefits perspective. Dean, can you tell us about how our employee requests inform what we build and deliver?
Yes, absolutely. I'd love to share an example about our employee health centers. So back in the summer of 2019, our health strategy team went out and conducted 11 focus groups across fulfillment centers in the US. And we did this because we wanted to get the voice of the employee. We wanted to hear direct from our frontline employees. And we learned by talking to them and directly, without any, you know, it wasn't a survey, it was direct meetings with our frontline employees. We learned that 53% of them did not have a primary care doctor. We also learned that 94% of them would welcome the opportunity to visit an on-site and use on-site health centers if we offered them. This group also said that, you know, they would be less frustrated if they could get better access to high quality, easily accessible primary care. So as follow-up to these focus groups, we then dove deep into data and really wanted to understand more about the gaps and problems that our employees were experiencing. And then based on our findings, we selected 5 cities based on places where our employees had higher unnecessary ER visits, less use of primary care services, and higher preventable hospitalizations. And then by late 2019, so just a few months later, we actually partnered with the workplace health and safety teams and launched the first of our 3 on-site pilot health centers. And then in the summer of 2020, the next year, we actually launched our first of 17 neighborhood clinics. These are all pilots, and we typically pilot so that we can test and measure programs and services before we launch globally. We now have 20 clinics across the US, 3 on-site clinics within fulfillment centers, as well as 17 neighborhood clinics throughout 5 states. And we offer these services to our employees 7 days a week with extended hours, and the schedule is based on the feedback and the request from our employees to meet their needs. And the average employee satisfaction scores that we see are over 90%, and 85% of the employees that we've asked and surveyed say that this is now their medical home. So as we do with all of our other benefit programs, we continue to use science and data to measure the success of these on-site neighborhood clinics, but we also continue to listen to our employees to make sure that what we offer is meeting their needs.
Dean, I love that you mentioned how your team is using data and science as well as employee feedback. In fact, it leads me to you, Heather. I know your team does a lot of work forecasting so that our architecture not only addresses current needs, but what our customers, our employees that is, will want 10 or 20 years from now. How do you do that?
So I'll start by saying, which Guna said earlier, the speed at which we build and deliver is fast. We are building all the time. And so we don't try to precisely predict customers' needs 10 years from now. We know we can't. So what we do know is that we need to learn and adjust constantly based on the customer. So we build for the flexibility to respond and adjust. We stay laser focused on the customer, but maintain flexibility in how we deliver that. So an example, most HR systems assume you have a boss, and that boss follows you. But what does it mean if you have a flexible workforce? Maybe you have 2 different jobs, 2 different bosses. How do you model that and ensure that we have the flexibility to evolve as the idea of how we work evolves?
Heather, I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm going to shamelessly steal. If you can't precisely predict, then prepare. Avi, I want to end with you, because although you've been with Amazon for over a decade, you've only been in this organization a couple of months. What should someone considering a career on this team know?
I would say that anyone who likes startup culture would love this organization. This space has not seen much tech disruption yet, and hence it's full of greenfield opportunities. You pick up any domain, whether it's related to building the right data models, solving the problem of complex business rules spread across countries, creating the architecture for event-driven workflows, creating self-learning system using machine learning, or maybe solving the complex problem of benefits discoverability and automation. It's full of challenges waiting to be picked up and solved. There's not much legacy burden we are carrying here, because a lot of domains are being developed right from ground up. We need thinkers who can come with new ideas, who can take up these new challenges, and we need builders who execute these ideas using the AWS technologies. I would say that this is also a good place for the right career growth, where there will be tremendous opportunities to work with senior leadership on different ideas and different executions. The unique thing which I like about this organization is that we are our own customers here. In a way, it puts us in a place where we get to build things the way we expect from our own company. I often tell that we as builders, we love to get feedback on the things that we build and launch in production. And this is a perfect place for that, because everyone around you would be your customer, including yourself.
That's awesome, Avi. It's like a startup environment without the startup. Thank you. Well, as our time together comes to a close, I want to thank my colleagues for sharing some of their experiences, and for you for taking time out to learn about our team. We simply can't say it enough. We're looking for inventors, customer support experts, people who love swimming outside their swim lanes and applying data and science to solve real problems at massive scale. If that sounds like you, come build with us.